Happy Friday the 13th, Magic Tribe. I apologize, for some reason it wouldn't let me go live, and now I'm past the 4:44 mark, but hopefully you'll forgive me. Thank you, as always, for joining me here. I know I said I was going to take a little break, but well, I couldn't really miss this opportunity to connect with all of you and maybe send some entertaining messages your direction. Um, we have a lot going on right now. It is Friday the 13th, and well, as you know, I was born at 13 degrees Scorpio, so I can't really miss the 13 numerology events and stuff. So we also have an eclipse tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what time it is at here. Hey, Michelle. We put a fun little poll up there too as well if you want to answer about whether or not you think that Friday the 13th is bad or not, or unlucky, should I say. We're also going to go through a couple articles. I'm not going to be able to screencast them to you, but I did put the links below in the description box. One is about the origins of Friday the 13th and the significance behind it, and then one is just about the number 13. Hey, Taylor. Oh, it's good to have you back. And then I also wanted to show you guys my stone choices for today, and we will go through the properties and why I chose those, which will kind of get into what the fuck's going on right now with me. Because, I did say I was taking a break to heal, and well, I really am taking a break to heal, but sometimes I still have stuff I really, really got to say to you guys. So we'll go through my 4 choices of stones today. We're going to do a pick-a-pile, which is part of the reason why I could not stay away, because I really wanted to bring out this deck. This is from Brittany over at Bright Light. She is a subscriber to the channel, and she also just happens to live right up the street from me. So we've been having little girl dates, and that's super, super fun. Everything's inverted there. Do you mean here as in general Earth, or here as in your own personal here, Michelle? So we're going to go through this deep, dark, and dangerous oracle. It is going to be part of our pick-a-pile. These are by Stacy DeMarco. I did not link those in here, but these are really, really nice. I'm really happy with that deck. She also gave me a couple other decks to kind of feel out this realm. Yeah, it's a lot of different things. We'll also pull cards out of the Spiritual AF deck. So if you want to go ahead and choose 1 through, we'll do 4 today to kind of cap off this whole 13 energy. 13 is also about the number 4. We're going to get into that here in a minute too as well. We'll use the Starseeds deck, and then we'll pull just an overall energetic out of the universe has your back. So 1 through 4 are the numbers for the pick-a-pile. But first, let's discuss some interesting facts about Friday the 13th. So, hang on, I got to split my screen here. All right. Let's see if I can get both these up here at the same time. Sorry, guys, hang on. I'm also kind of waiting to get more people up on here, too. Yeah, I mean, I would kind of say that they are a little bit of fear-mongering, maybe. They are definitely a fear. But we'll talk about that here in a second, too. So, the article I am reading from is from history.com. Actually, I didn't go to one of those just like weird off the wall blogs about this. I actually went to the history.com channel. And it kind of talks a little bit about how, Friday the 13th has really been considered kind of this like harbinger of bad luck, and how that started in the 19th and early 20th centuries. And it's created a couple phobias because of the fear of the number, and also the fear of Friday the 13th specifically. Horror films, I mean, you name it, it's kind of created this like almost brand for this day. And for me personally, it's always been kind of a lucky day. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that, astrologically for me, I was born at 13 degrees Scorpio. So Friday the 13th is like extra uber awesome for me. But I have people who are just absolutely scared to death of this day too. So the fear of 13 and Friday the 13th is just like any other superstition, walking under ladders and breaking mirrors. And all of these things are kind of relative to what you feel about them, right? This is one of those realities that we get to create for ourselves. And though people don't really know where this kind of fear started as far as this goes, negative things have been said about the number 13 for, centuries. And a lot of that probably leads back to some of the aspects of it that are not really talked of anymore. Right? But didn't you just have a Friday the 13th birthday here not too long ago? Wasn't this year, actually? So, but this is mostly just kind of a Western culture kind of dominates this particular superstition quite a bit. Oh, that's awesome, Taylor. I thought so. Because, you and Princess Pickles share birthdays. So those of you don't know, my youngest daughters and Taylor have the same birthday. So they were always birthday buds. So there's also this thing in Western culture about the number 12, right? Now we have 12 months on our calendar. That wasn't always the case. There's 12 zodiac signs, although there's some speculation about there actually being a 13th there too as well. 12 gods of Olympus, the 12 tribes of Israel. Not to bring up a sore subject right now. Hopefully I don't get flagged for saying that. Crap, I didn't think about that. But it's had a long history of being a sign of bad luck. It was like the 13th law in the Code of Hammurabi was omitted because it was a number 13. Although it may have been a clerical error, people think that it was actually about the superstition. And then like I was saying before, the fear of the number 13 and the fear actually being scientifically documented phobias. A lot of people think that because this is mostly a Western culture thing, that a lot of it has to do with biblical traditions. There was 13 guests that attended the Last Supper, and in that whole story. And Judas would have been the 13th. But when you actually look at that, it was actually 12 apostles plus Jesus who is there. So actually, Jesus would have been the 13th. You know what I mean? There's lots of fine line walking in that too. 12 cranial nerves. That's really good. They actually say there's 13 strands to our DNA, although we've only achieved like, 2 so far. And then, there's the 13 Club, which was an old dinner club way back in the late 19th century. And there's a lot of fun things. Now in, today's pop culture, we have, the horror movie franchise Friday the 13th, which Taylor is specifically fond of. And let's see what else. Oh, this was an interesting fact that I found. The Knights Templar were arrested on Friday, October 13th in 1307. I thought that was pretty neat. So there's that negative reference there again. And then at the bottom of the article, it lists all the places where they got all this information from, which is kind of fun. For me, I'm more interested in the spiritual meaning of 13. 13 is the death card in the tarot. It is the one most often associated with transformation and growth and rebirth and shedding old habits and embracing new ones. And it's found all over the place in spiritual and religious contexts, in good ways too, as well. So if you break down 13, 3 plus 1 is 4, it becomes the symbol of stability and practicality and hard work and all of those things that we admire. But it's also associated with the fact that there's 13 lunar cycles in the year. Females cycle, if they are on a regular 28-day cycle, 13 times every year with the moon. There's some other significances there too, where it's said to be better to cycle with the new moon rather than the full, but we have a tendency to vary, throughout the year as far as that goes, for different, all kinds of different reasons. But that's something for another day. So in embracing this day, for me, it's always been really about kind of cementing the things that I want to work towards over the next year and my own personal growth. Because, for me, my solar return's coming up here in a couple weeks. And so for this October, for this Friday the 13th to be happening in this specific time frame for me was kind of opportune, I guess, as far as what I've been going through in my own personal growth cycle. But recognizing the potential for change and new beginnings, which is what the 13 kind of represents, we're opening ourselves up to create that stability in our lives that we are all kind of craving, especially right now when everything's so bonkers. So this has always been a day that's really been kind of focused on really harnessing those more feminine attributes of our singular whole, right? And like our intuitions and emotionality and those things that have a tendency to be more on that end, rather than the, go get it done male aspect of all of us. So, which that will be coming though too. So enjoy this little look ahead of time, right? And this article actually goes through and talks about the significance of the number 13 in all kinds of different religions and cultures, and it was pretty interesting. So this one is the one that I linked in here second. There's also, pardon me, Thor, the relationship with number 13 in the Mayan calendar too, as well. There's 13 months in the Mayan calendar. And also, where else did I see that was to, I don't, it's actually linked to a few different calendars. All right, so let's get into my stone choices. So I had rose quartz today, black tourmaline, clear quartz, and Dalmatian jasper in my arsenal. Mostly because I have been trying to do a lot of heart chakra work, and this usually kind of hits me about the same time as I'm, I don't want to say celebrating, but the day that my mom passed, which is October 7th. So we just went through that last week, and I don't know, it hit me in my feels a lot, in a lot of different ways this year than it has before. So rose quartz, everybody kind of knows the significance of rose quartz. It is the stone that we use with the most when dealing with any aspect of love, calling it to yourself, learning how to give it to yourself, just feeling more of it when it feels necessary. And I love this one that I have. Although the light doesn't really show how good it is. But the reason I paired it with this clear quartz is because clear quartz is used as an amplifier, and it not only amplifies. You got to be careful when you're using clear quartz and pairing it with a lot of stones, because it'll amplify whatever you're trying to achieve. So your intention, right? So I've just been kind of wanting to see more of that in my reality rather than the things that are being force fed us right now about all the crap that's going on everywhere about everything, like literally everything. And I've been having a really hard time with that. So I've kind of just been holding up for the last few days and reading a book, and every once in a while checking on my social medias, but not really participating for the most part. And so those stones have really been helping out with that a lot too. The Dalmatian jasper I picked because it helps with overcoming things like depression and feelings of hopelessness or disillusionment. And disillusionment's been one I've been having to deal with quite often. Right now, it's kind of the one I've been processing through. Just the why of things that happen, and you have to, even though you understand why they happen, you still have to work through those trauma processes more in a physical way, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, rather than an emotional way. There's a few really good books out there about healing physical traumas linked to emotional traumas. Yeah, lots of shadow work. Definitely more in the physical than the mental spaces, but both of those things as well. So I've been really having to slow down a lot and feel those feels. Yes, it's all it is definitely all integration. But the real reason I was working with Dalmatian Jasper because it has another dual purpose of really shaking up emotions of the stuck variety. You know, that maybe the things that you don't really know what caused them, but it's still there. So it helps in the moving forward of that. And the black tourmaline is kind of on that same wave as far as that goes too, in the fact that it helps to remove negative properties and energy from your environment so that you can feel more safe. And it's also a good grounding stone too as well. I've been having to walk around barefoot quite often, even in my house. In fact, I have these little like rubber kind of soled flip-flops that I usually wear everywhere, and I haven't even been able to wear them because I can totally feel them grounding out my energy, and it's not able to pass through the cycle, and my feet actually start hurting really bad when I wear them. So we've been doing the barefoot thing as much as humanly possible, except for when I'm at work. Obviously, bare feet in the kitchen doesn't cut that. So those are the ones I've been going through, and yeah, yes, baby steps for sure. I did not link the articles about the stones. I figure you guys could probably find those out on your own. All right, let's go through and pick our cards for our pick-a-pile. I'm just going to go through each deck really quick. So work on whether or not you... Oh, let's give you a little peek at these really quick. So they come with the super awesome book, right? But this deck is like otherworldly. I love it. So here is the back of the cards. But this is my favorite part. I love the holographic sides. They are a little big though. See, they're like almost the same size as my hand. I'm actually a really little person. Oh, fun! Have fun at that. What a good day for it. All right, so we're just going to pick 4 cards out of this deck. I am not looking at these. In fact, I haven't really looked at more than 1 or 2 of these cards. There are a lot of really cool information in this deck, so I'm actually looking. This might actually get kind of long. It keeps trying to give me 2 for pile number 4, but I'm going to get 1. There we go. They were kind of sticking together too. So. All right. And then we'll save the rest of those for another day. Let's do Gabrielle Bernstein's Universe Has Your Back deck. Yes, I do have chef hands. I can make it work. It's just not super comfortable. Chef hands. Yeah, I guess that is the thing. All right. Wow, our first card popped really quick out of here for pile number 1 and 2. There's 3 and 4. Nice. All right. Messages are coming in hot today. Matches the freaking weather around here right now. We had a glorious couple of very, very nice fall days, and then summer came back. That's okay. I'm dealing. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are our straight to the point cards. And they'll get one keyword card out. Sorry, that's upside down. The Starseed deck by Nari Stars. And those of you who did not know about the Spiritual AF deck, these are our most recent inspiration cards from knockknockstuff.com. They are epic in every way. But they are a little sweary. Ooh, 1, 2. So what's the weather at? Like where you guys are at right now? I know we're kind of all over the place. I think we've got at least 3 of the 4 directions in here right now. All right. As people are coming in, we are getting ready to do our pick a pile. We are leading with the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle. These are by Stacy DeMarco. Choose 1 through 4. Sunny and 60s, but it was snowing yesterday. Yeah, I believe it. Utah's kind of like that right now, this time of year especially. Is this any weirder than usual, or is this kind of normal time frame? I remember when I came down there, it was kind of like that too. Or should I say over and up there? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. All right, so pile number 1. Those of you who chose pile number 1, these are your cards. We have 4. We are going to start with the card from the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. And it's going to be one of those, is it, Spirit? I shit you not. You get the 4 card. Look at that. The Dragon card. Calling all dragons. Here she be. So those of you who chose pile number 1, you are leading with the number 4, the Dragon card. Love it. I love the fact that that is the first card we get out of here. Okay, so these all have kind of a long spiel, but we're going to go with it. Like I said, this might get to be a long one. I'll try to timestamp the pick a pile part at the end. Okay. All right, so the dragon is the treasure card. Okay. It says, know what you treasure. Change is natural. Holding on to what is impossible long term. Protect what is important to you. Set proper boundaries and trouble may avoid you. Be strategic. Think ahead. Be brave. You can actually triumph if you try. The duality of this card is in the value or not of value. Hoarding and scarcity. So lack and or love, right? Perhaps one of the most well-known creatures of the darkness across many world cultures is the dragon, from ancient Sumeria, Japan, China, Korea, right across to Egypt and the Middle East, across Europe, through the Bible, and even Sufi poetry. All have dragon lore. While they may be described differently depending on where you are from, dragons almost always have a serpentine form, are large, tailed, scaly, and often live hidden in places like caves, deep pools, or inside mountains. Asiatic and Middle Eastern dragons are the most like great serpents, sometimes with legs, sometimes without, and are often strategic and intelligent in their mythos. Chinese dragons are beautiful and are considered aligned with the element of rain and bringers of good fortune. The European dragon is most often winged and can breathe fire or spit venom, and has often been the target of heroes who kill them in order to win a prize, overcome something, complete a given task, or recover. or to steal the dragon's hoard of treasure. It is this aspect of their mythos that is intriguing. Dragons can be seen as both gatekeepers and protectors of treasure, or what is valued, at the same time. Sometimes the dragon collects the shimmering gold and jewels for themselves simply because it is beautiful to them. Sometimes the treasure is being guarded for a purpose, good or bad. Yet the dragon must be overcome for the hero to be rewarded with some of the treasure. In the Norse sagas, there's a wonderful story of the hero who makes his money by working out various ways to sneak past sleeping dragons. In the English saga, a slave steals a single cup from a dragon's hoard, and the dragon knows of it and begins to raise the city around it. Beowulf takes 12 warriors with him to slay the dragon, but when they see it, all but one runs. There you have that aspect of 13 that we were looking at. Beowulf plus 12 warriors, right? Jesus plus 12 disciples. Synchronicities everywhere, right? But in Beowulf, he battles the dragon and his sword shatters and he ends up mortally injured, right? But both he and the dragon are dying. And he tells the one warrior who stayed that he must bury the majority of the dragon's treasure lest the cowardly soldiers come back to claim it, and he and the dragon die, both without the precious treasure. Both terrible and beautiful dragon magic is still strong today. So many films and games still mention dragons, and the motif appears on flags for sports teams and in popular culture everywhere. More likely now than ever, dragons are increasingly seen as benevolent, intelligent, and often wronged by humans. Its plant companion is the orchid. Its crystal companion is the emerald, especially if it is wrapped in typical gold. Right? So number ones, you get very, very strong, not only 13 energy with the 4, but you are being reminded of what a treasure you are. And also how very protected you are as well, too. So let's see where the rest of your message goes. I love that energy for you. It says instead of praying for an outcome, ask for the highest good for all, right? And that is definitely what we want to do in any time of amplified energy like today's. And the spiritual AF deck is saying to stop stressing over shitty AF people, right? Remember that the vast majority of our time spent in strife and stress is simply because we're stressing over shitty people. You catch yourself thinking about a shitty person, take a moment and think about an awesome as fuck human. If you're going to spend time crawling up other people's asses, it might as well be someone awesome. Indeed. And your Starseed keyword card is this one. It is the truth card. It says, see your light, know your power, and have the courage to walk your truth, number ones. Nice. Good message, pile number 1. All right. So if you chose pile number 2, let me get a drink really quick. Nice, Michelle. I honestly can't remember when my kids were, or which Chinese zodiac my kids are, to be honest. It's kind of floating away at the moment. Too much other stuff crammed in my head. All right. Pile number 2, your deep, dark, and dangerous card is a dark card, the Morrigan. Number 26. So you get an 8 in energy. Nice. Beautiful. All right, let's read about this card. Number 2, so that's some feisty energy to start off with. All right. The Morgan card is about sovereignty. Ooh, like it. It's about establishing your own realm and domain. You are the king or queen of your own castle, and this means you set boundaries and guidelines. Protect your own. Protect the earth and her creations. Ooh, I'm sensing a theme here. The duality for this card, however, is peace and war versus fear and courage, right? Now, the Morgan is a Celtic or Irish goddess and the warrior queen of war, known in modern Ireland as, I cannot pronounce the Gaelic, which is kind of stupid because I'm Irish, but it is what it is. She is also the great queen of phantoms in battle. The Morgan is listed in the ancient mythical race of deities as one of the daughters of Ernmas and the granddaughter of the god Nuada. The Morgan has also been described in a triple aspect with 3 distinct forms, also known as the mated, mother, and crone aspects, right? That's where that comes from. 3 aspects of the same deity. She is, however, not to be confused with Morgan Le Fay. Although they are both dark and strong battle goddesses, they are not one and the same. The Morgan often appears as a powerful black crow and flies over the battlefield to both inspire her own warriors and create havoc and fear among the enemy. She secures the protection of the land itself in the interests of the prosperity of the land and will fight against and punish those who would threaten it. Okay? I like that. That's kind of like the aspect that we're all kind of being asked to face at the moment. The Morgan, though, is also a fate teller. She can be a frightening force who foresees the fate of others, and it is said she appears to the families of those who die in battle, washing their bloodied clothing. Its plant companion is vervain, which you can often find in a tea form, and the crystal companion of citrine, which happens to be my birthstone. So this is also heavily scorpionic in feeling too as well, which kind of is fitting for this time. Nice. I love that. Okay. Which goes along with your universe has your back card, which says there's nothing sexier than your authentic truth. And that is definitely true for those of you who chose pile number 2. You're really being asked to confront that aspect of yourself that may not necessarily. Can you guys hear Thor snoring? He's got his head on the windowsill. Hold on, let me see if I can. He's just snoring away. Head in the sunshine. Ah, if we could all just remember that life is really that simple. So, anyways, those of you who chose pile number 2, I don't know. Maybe he was a dragon in a past life. All right. So your spiritual AF card number 2 says people aren't ignoring you, love bug. Right? Remember that people are busy AF with their lives. The way to stop feeling ignored is to get busy with yours. Take up knitting if you have to and get into it. No one is ignoring you. They're probably just reading or something. In fact, go read. The day you stop worrying whether or not someone is ignoring you is the day you get busy as fuck living your own life. Ooh. And you get the Earth Guide card out of the Starseed deck. Your sacred calling upon this planet is to simply love and be loved. He never snores this loud. Sorry, I can't get that to focus. I don't know why. Oh, I love him to death. All right, your authentic truth, number 2s. You can do it. I have faith in you. All right, number 3s. Let's get your cards. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do some times taker. All right, number 3s. You get this is another dark card. It's the 18. It's Chiron. I don't know. It has a couple pronunciations. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what this is the one we're talking about. Right? It's kind of that energetics going on right now. All right, so the 18 card, number 3s, is telling you that you must find a balance in acts of giving and receiving in all ways, but in particular, in your give and take with the earth, you must learn to reciprocate. Ooh. The duality of this card is about giving and receiving and acceptance and rejection. So when someone died in ancient Greece or Rome, a coin was placed either in the mouth of the dead or upon their eyes. This was an important part of the ritual of death because without coins, the recently departed could not pay the ferryman. I think this is Charon was the ferryman of Hades, the son of Erebus and Nyx. His responsibility was to ferry the souls of the dead over the rivers of death, and so he is what is called a psychopomp, or a guide of the dead. The 2 rivers he worked were the Styx and sometimes the Acheron, the river of sorrow. These rivers separated the worlds of the dead and the living, so it was important that the newly dead were able to journey across safely. Also, he ensured that no dead traveled back the other way. He was responsible for ferrying certain heroes and gods who were alive and had a task within the underworld. For example, Odysseus and Orpheus, Hercules, Dionysus, and Sisyphus. All were ferried by the ferryman, but were not dead. And this was an inherently dangerous journey for the living with many perils, including falling into the water themselves. The river Styx itself was highly magical and deadly and lethal to new souls and people who are alive. If anyone bathes in the Styx and survives, everywhere the water touches on that person becomes invulnerable. And this is how Achilles became immortal after his mother dipped him in the Styx, all except the heel that she held him by. That small exclusion was his downfall, and he was shot by an arrow on that spot. So, what happened if the ferryman wasn't paid? Some myths say that the souls were left wandering indefinitely, but most suggest there was a 100-year penalty until the soul could come back to the ferryman and be taken across into the realm of the dead. The act of reciprocity, or the payment for the ferryman's labor and care became an important act in the respectful care of the dead. Its plant companion is poinsettia, and the crystal companion is larimar. I think I have some larimar somewhere, but I'm not really sure where it is. Yeah, that's a very important responsibility, especially if you're asked specifically by a friend before they pass. All right, so reciprocity, number 3 is interesting. Remember that you are the dreamer of your dream. You're not here working towards someone else's dream. You're here working towards your own. Remember what that is, I'm hearing. The spiritual AF card says it's okay to start the fuck over if you have to. And yes, it is. On the back of the card, it says, did you fuck up? Start over. Did things fall apart? Start over. Every day isn't a new beginning. Every moment is. Deep as fuck, I know. But quit holding on to old mistakes and shit. Just start the fuck over right now. In every single moment of this now, we can just start over. And there's no use beating a dead horse with the past, right? You get the Starseed card out of the Starseed deck. So this is going to be about raising the vibration of the planet through your radiant, loving light. That is your ultimate purpose here, isn't it, number 3s? Nice. All right, one last card out of the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous deck. So if you chose number 4, pile number 4, sorry, let's just jumped right into this one. You get the 38 card, which is in the Dangerous group. And I think it's called Kusith. I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly. So this is going to be about a wolf. So if that is your own personal spirit helper, maybe you should also listen to the messages for number 4. But ultimately, this is about focus. Okay. The 38 card is also an 11. So make a wish. But ultimately, this is the card about safety, it says. So it starts off with a pretty clear message, number 4, about how everybody craves a level of safety, yet this level is often different for all of us. So be aware of the risk in a current situation before making your decisions. Listen to warnings if you are given them right now. Watch and act on red flags. The duality of this card is about safety versus risk. And it says as follows. If you were walking in the wilds of the Scottish Highlands, you might recognize, depending on where you go, that it is risky. The weather could turn for the worst, for example, and you could be pelted with hail or sleet, or you could freeze. Perhaps you could hurt yourself climbing the cold stones, or a rock might fall on you from above. Maybe you could simply slip on the dew and slide into a bog hole. Further, there are other dangers that could befall you, like being killed by the Kushi, is how you pronounce it, or the green dog of the highlands. It was a strange and formidable creature that concerned many people of the area. It had a shaggy green coat and a plaited tail and roamed the moors and sharp cliffs looking for victims. It was bigger than the largest living hound in that it was the size of a cow or a bull, and in fact, from a distance may have been mistaken for cattle by unfortunates who soon found out what the reality was. You would think that an animal like this would want to hunt quietly. After all, could stand out, and sometimes it did. Yet the most famous part of the myth here is the sound of the coochie. It would let out a piercing, blood-curdling sound halfway between a bark and a howl. If you heard this sound, it was said that you had only until it barked a third time to seek cover and safety. Otherwise, it was your end. You were literally too terrified to live, and your heart could burst in fear. The coochie was considered to be a fairy dog, and as such, not something you would go out and hunt, lest revenge be taken by the fae. Its companion plant is the bog myrtle, and its crystal companion is the green agate. So those may have some use for you here. Right, I mean, ultimately, that is kind of the way it is. So that's a cool card. I love the mythologies behind the cards that they use for that deck. So it'll be fun to look more into that. But to continue your message pile number 4, remember, when you lean toward love, you are led, is ultimately the message from the universe for you. And don't be an ungrateful shit. Seriously, number 4, if you're listening to this card, you're privileged as fuck. You can read. Reading is super fucking fantastic. So think about how many generations of people didn't get to read or can't listen. Yeah, we're beautiful. These cards are silly. And you get one of the almost one of the only deck cards in this deck that is just a perfectly puff cloudy sky. This is the freedom card, number 4. It says follow your heart and nurture your soul with love and freedom to grow. Nice. So for Friday the 13th messages, these are all really great ones. Hopefully you heard the ones that you needed to hear. I am going to cut this out now. It is 52 minutes in. It's going to take forever to upload. But thank you for participating in our little poll in the chat and for being here and being you. Know you are beyond beloved, not just by me, but by the universe as well. Have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you get to see the eclipse tomorrow, which is supposed to be amazing. I am actually going to be at work, but we're going to try and peek out at it, I think. I think here it happens a little bit before I go. I'm not sure. Thank you, Michelle. All right. I love you all beyond measure. Be good. Be good at it. And I'll see you all again sometime in the near future. Make sure you hit the little bell button so you know when I pop on live, because I can't commit to a schedule right now. It's just not in the cards. You are always seen here and in many other places too as well. Wait, you're in Wisconsin, right? I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it or not. Although I do know you can watch it on a bunch of things are live streaming it. I would just Google it. Yeah, I got that after I said the first part, but the first message still applies. All right. Bye, everyone. Be good.